How you doing out there? Of course, it is me, Scott. That's right, that guy that'll occasionally, in fact, this will be the third time I'm attempting to upload this video here on YouTube. Yeah, I've not had any luck with this particular video, so I'm hoping that, well, what is it, 3 times the charm or something like that. Yeah, just to give you a little bit of behind, I guess, the stories of, or how I generally upload these particular videos and what I really should do in most of my videos. Well, unboxings, if I ever get around to doing them again, they're expensive, guys. I'll try to do them, but they're expensive. But when I do videos like this, I really do try to prepare, get the facts as best as I can straight. Basically leave myself little notes. I tape them underneath the camera right here on its tripod, or here on my computer monitor where I have the webcam. I'll have notes or images, basically just to keep me on track, and it does help me with my edits and everything else. And this is something that's been suggested a long time ago, and what a lot of YouTubers on certain channels, when they try to help you grow your channel, if you are into that sort of thing, these are some of the things that they advise is make scripts, make out little whatever guidelines, have a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end, which does make sense. Well, I had all that prepared like I do now. By the way, I'm off script. I just want to give you a little bit behind the scenes. I get that all ready to go, and this camera right here, this one right there, my number one, my monster, my go-to camera that I'm still not ready to say it's time to have you go, off to a farmland and play with your cousins. You know what I mean? You get the idea. No, I still love using this camera. Yeah, it's not in 4K. Yeah, it's only in 1080p, but for YouTube, it's just fine. And if you set it up just right, it's going to look, I like the cinema look. I'm not into the whole, bright, vivid, whatever. This I'm happy with. I enjoy it. Call me old school, but I like that look. Someday I may go to, all, digital and all that, but for now, this is fine. It works for me. And I've never had anybody until probably now say, Scott, your video quality just absolutely sucks. Until now, of course. But, who gives a shit what trolls think, right? But anyways, I started to have these technical difficulties. I mean, hell, I'm even happy using this webcam. It's great. It helps me out for stuff like this. Well, this camera kept on shutting out. And I'm thinking, well, okay, it could be either okay, I've got 2 batteries that I have. One, it's a Canon camera, by the way. It's a Canon 80D. Oh, God, Scott, that's old. But it still works great for me, like I stated. The camera, or the battery that came with that, it's still the most reliable battery. But it started, like I said, the camera kept on shutting off. I'm like, well, maybe it's finally showing some serious age. And then I got this other generic one that you get what you pay for, right? On my monitor right there, they'll display a monitor. When it starts showing that battery that's like halfway, decent, it actually means, oh, it's about to die with that other battery. So I kind of know how they both work. Well, it kept on shutting off, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to walk away, come back tomorrow, get both the batteries fully charged. And then when I noticed that the SD card that I just bought recently, I wasn't using in this camera. The one that I was using was kind of an older one. I'm thinking, well, that's probably what it was. And sure enough, I'm hoping that's what the problem was. We'll find out. Well, the second day, or the second attempt, I sat down, getting ready to go, have my cheat sheets, everything else, my notes, everything set to go. And I didn't even get 3 minutes into the video, and I just started feeling incredibly uncomfortable. Just feeling wheezy, sick. That feeling you get when you're just not feeling good. Your body's telling you, buddy, your ass is not going anywhere. You are finished. Well, I was. In fact, I hadn't felt that way since I was 9 years old. And I remember that so well because that was the most disgusting, most disturbing. That, and my mother was pregnant with my brother at the time. And it was even more frightening for her because not only is she dealing with me, who is extremely sick, but we found out we had food poisoning, okay? And I'm willing to bet that's exactly what I have now. Now, granted, here we live in the 2020 eras, even though it is 2023, where they basically tell you, no, you didn't die from a car accident. You probably passed away because of the C word. You know what I mean? Everything. is the C word when you're sick, right? Hell, I don't have allergies anymore. No, when spring allergies occur, chances are it's something else, if you know what I mean. No, I don't have those anymore. It's the other thing. So chances are I didn't really have food poisoning from a certain company called, well, we'll just call it BK. No, chances are it was the other thing. And somehow I miraculously felt better 4 days later. So here we are, the third time around. And I'm going to finally get to this video. So far, now that you got a little bit of backstory, now you understand my preparation for these particular videos, and I'm hoping that I didn't give you too much information on how I felt and what I was going through. I was just trying to build the story up a little bit to warn you, yes, you as well, if you start feeling certain symptoms like food poisoning or that C word, or if what you're watching this video on, whether it be your phone, your pad, whatever they call them now, your computer, or like me, I watch pretty much all my YouTube videos on my TV, either in my bedroom or out there in the living room. If that starts failing, it could be, well, from what really happened, from the story that was shared with us back in 1979 to the whole world. One of the most horrific events that ever happened. And maybe it's coming back to haunt me, which may haunt you. So don't say I didn't warn you. Be prepared for what you're about to listen and for what you're about to see and what you're about to feel.
Hello everyone, my name is Thor and Scott asked me to come on here to say erectile dysfunction. Hello everyone, my name is Thor. Scott asked me to come on here to tell you subscribe to his channel. Why? Because he's better than you realize. Erectile dysfunction is not funny. Vote today.
The most iconic horror house has a new owner, or new owners, I should say. The home used as the Amityville Horror House in the 1979 classic film has been sold for $1.7 million. But then again, I did hear it was also $1.5 million. I know that's a huge difference, but I want to make sure that I got my facts straight here. So I don't want you to think for 1 second that I was BSing you. So now that I've gotten off my chest, we're ready to move on here, right? Okay. Following the incredible sale of the Goonies home, I don't know if you guys remember this last year. Yeah, it nearly sold. That house was nearly sold for almost like $2 million last year. Yeah, this is another classic piece in the Hollywood history of real estate that has new owners. Well, the home used in the film for the Amityville Horror House was sold for $1.7 or $1.5 million. This house was in New Jersey, was used as a stand-in for the actual location of the bloody murder of the DeFeo family, which was located at 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, New York. Now, I do believe they did change that address, the numeric, to 108. That way it would confuse anybody that was going to go by to try to find the house. You know, there was a huge difference there, 108 and 112. You could throw some people off, I'm telling you. The Amityville Horror was based off of the real experience of the Lutz family, George and Kathy with their 3 kids, that moved into the DeFeo's home months after the brutal murders that took place. Now see, that always bothered me. That always bothered me. It does to this very day. In fact, the first thing that came to my mind was what happened here was back in 2018. You know that bastard that's rotting in prison right now? That guy, the initial CW? You're probably like, who are you talking about? Okay, I'll say Chris W. Or if anything, C. Watts. Does that give you enough information here? See, I do not like saying his name because, see, this is a real evil bastard. Okay? This guy was responsible for taking his pregnant wife. He took her life and his 2 beautiful daughters. He took all their lives away just because he had this other love interest. I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it, is how we were told. And how he took their lives away is just, it angers me. But anyways, the house that they lived in, it was empty. As far as I know, it's still empty. Then again, I did hear something about that someone did purchase it. It was empty for at least 4 years. No one wanted to touch that house because of what had happened. But yet, that family was able to move into the DeFeo's home months after. Ah, man. See, that was one of the events, that was one of the things that, you know what, let me just stick to the facts, stick to the storyline, because people are already starting to lose interest, Scott. The family, of course, they only stayed in the house for 28 days before fleeing after attempting an exorcism within the walls of the home to cleanse the evil spirits. Now, did you guys see that little... I know they've had it on YouTube, or it's still available. You know, the Warrens, of obvious... What the hell's the...
We are the investigators of the Amityville Horror. That handful of people, Tony. The media...
That's it, huh?
That's it. That's all. And people came out of the woodwork after reading a book, making all sorts of statements regarding the fact that was hoax, based on a book, based on a piece of literary property. They're saying that the case was a hoax. Now, the man who is on our right, and on the right on the screen,
over my shoulder.
Looking over my shoulder, he was very badly affected in that house.
And he was from
Duke. And he collapsed, Tony, and had to be taken out. The man in the middle has died of a heart attack. This is Missy's bedroom. Are you aware that the children and George and Kathy slept in the very beds that the DeFeos were murdered in?
I heard that, yeah.
The only thing changed were the mattresses. That is the furniture of the little girls, and that's the room where Missy slept.
Practically everybody there didn't believe what was going on anyways. In fact, even some of the images, the pictures that they took for that particular day, hell, they've tried to sell for years that one of the pictures that they took was a little ghost boy. Oh, I never bought that for 1 second. When the very first time I seen that image, and I'll try to find it and I'll show it here, where it looks like there's, like I said, the ghost boy, or I think that's how they quoted it. I'm not quite sure, but it clearly looks like somebody was just a picture taken of this person, because I've never seen images of a ghost that looks like that ghost is wearing glasses where there's a reflection of the light in it. I mean, that's the very first impression I get from this photo. Anyways, back to the script, Scott. Stick to the script. Jesus. While the subsequent owner of the home have reported nothing scary or supernatural ever happened, well, that didn't stop the Lutz from selling their story, and boy, didn't they sell that story quite well. Iconic Amityville house looks much different today. For example, the signature windows of the top floor, they have been redesigned, and it speaks power of the story. The event of the movie location was able to sell the incredible, for the incredible amount, that is. Yeah, those windows are definitely iconic. Anyways, the 1979 film was widely considered to be the best part of the long-running horror franchise, starring James Brolin and, of course, Margot Kidder. While it dramatizes the events of the novel, which has already embellished the true story, the film became the touchstone pop culture and serves as the definitive work on the Amityville Horror incident. Now, I remember it was either in one of the DVDs or my son, because he has so many more than I do right now. It was either in a featurette or maybe something I'd witnessed on YouTube. Margot Kidder, she did this interview. It was like somewhere around the early 2000s. Yeah, I remember it was like at a film convention. And she revealed that, well, in the film's producers wanted her and Brolin to share stories about all sorts of strange incidents that are occurring during the set of the film.
I didn't buy that this really had happened, but I watched with great amusement as the studio's publicity machine went into action concocting these terrible things that were happening on our set, which weren't really.
We're being asked, is there weird stuff going on? And we're looking for stuff now, because we like to tell them, oh yeah, you wouldn't believe what happened yesterday, My lunch fell off the table into my lap. Well, that happened on the last picture, okay.
So nothing happened at the location that was just sold. The 2005 remake. Do you guys remember this with Ryan Reynolds that did have the scary incident on set when the cast and crew where they found a dead body? Well, this was obviously far removed from the actual Amityville Horror house. The remake was filmed in the shores, like somewhere around Chicago and Wisconsin. Yeah, they found the finding of a dead body. You gotta admit, it's still incredibly creepy. Yeah, no supernatural beings were implicated in the murder. Instead, it was thought to have been a mob hit. Yeah, there's still mob hits in Chicago, right? definitely in the South Side, if you want to say that at least. Of course, I think a lot of us could agree purchasing a prop used in a legendary movie is one thing, but buying the house used as the set of the Amityville Horror House is very far more impressive. While the house has been updated and it sports a very sleek, modern look on the inside, there's still something undeniably cool about being able to brag over, where Kidder and Brolin was filming one of the greatest horror films of all times in your new living room. I mean, seriously, think about it. You own the house in New Jersey. You live there. And you have guests over. You're throwing a little party or whatever. And you're telling them, oh, by the way, you're currently standing in the house where they shot a lot of scenes for the Amityville Horror. You film. You guys remember that back in the... Oh, I've got it playing out there in the living room, on the Blu-ray. That would be so cool. So while it's not the real Amityville Horror House, it's arguably even more impressive as supernatural occurrences have been, disproven time and time again at the original location. But a very successful film was definitely filmed at the New Jersey home. Well, folks, I really hope that, first of all, you guys are feeling well. You're not feeling sick. You're not feeling nauseous. Because that's the last thing I want happen to anyone. I don't want what happened to me a few days ago. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Food poisoning sucks. There's no doubt about it. I did contact the local BK because what if somebody else, and sure enough, they had got some complaints. So, yeah, it sucks. And like I said, I don't wish that on my worst enemy. So be careful out there. Who knows if this is something that's gone through all of them. I haven't heard anything on the news, but yeah. And if your technology is starting to fail on you, hey, that ain't my fault. Nuh-uh. Don't blame me. That's just a weird coincidence going on right there. So seriously, I can't thank all of you out there, men and women that have been sticking around, patiently waiting for me to upload videos here on YouTube. Look, I wish I had more time to upload videos constantly on here. I mean, I don't want to say that coulda, shoulda, would have. Maybe if I went down that track, I would have had more time to make more videos. Because let's face it, yes, there are people that can make a career here on YouTube, but I just don't think that's in the cards for me. I'm not doubting myself. I just don't have the time to do it. But who knows? Maybe I'll start making enough content where it could go down that trail, and then I'll make that decision. So, if you've got any, encouragement, you know what to do in the comment section. Not you mean trolls. I just ignore mean trolls. But if any of you out there say, yes, Scott, I think you should make YouTube your career and focus on that more. And then I will start selling my body more. And then I'll see what I could do. I can't say that here on YouTube. But anyways, I do thank everybody out there that has been watching. And something else that I have looked into it even here recently. So here's some advice to everyone out there that wants to start possibly their own YouTube channel. When you hear myself and others, or even when you see stuff here on the screen, the fancy little graphics, subscribe to my YouTube channel, it is highly advised that you suggest that to your viewers, because once that's posted into the algorithm, and how YouTube's algorithm works, if they notice that you're suggesting that, and that more and more people may possibly be subscribing or liking from your suggestions, it does help boost your channel even more. It's just how the algorithm works. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not an IT guy. I don't know. But it is highly advised, and they notice that numbers do help channels go up more by asking people to subscribe more and liking, of course, and all that. So I'm not trying to say that to annoy you. I'm just trying to do that to, if anything, hey, it doesn't cost me anything, and it certainly doesn't cost you. So, and I do thank you for doing that, taking the time to subscribe, like, and tickle on that bell. So alrighty, well, we're all feeling good, right? We're all feeling safe. Everything is working good. I just noticed something. My other camera, it stopped working. Okay, well, that's where we're going to end this video right now, because this one's still rolling. Oh wow, this is weird. Maybe I did speak way too long. Alrighty, I'm shutting up. Everyone stay safe. Stay awake. Goodbye.